Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage Podcast, episode 294. I am Eric Burkert, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sininsky. Hello.
Hey, it's me.
How do?
I'm slaying a youngling.
Slaying
a youngling.
Perfect. I also have a youngling that is not quite open yet.
It's a Star Wars reference because Anakin got caught on security footage slaying younglings during Order 66.
Oh my.
And there's a whole meme
God.
of Anakin slaying younglings.
Patreon.com/Carbitrage. On this super cool website, you will find 3 open-ended levels of support starting at just $1 a month to help content consumers like you support content producers like us. Basically just helps pay hosting costs and beer. So patreon.com/Carbitrage. If you want to, we thank you kindly. If not, we understand. All right, so first topic, and this was something I had to lean back to a couple of times on the last episode because I couldn't remember exactly where the...
1 second.
Oh, good. I couldn't remember exactly where I put this bad boy, but when we were talking about the 400Z on the last episode, and I don't know what the hell is going on the computer here, please forgive me. We were talking about the 400Z on the last episode and how they were only giving us the Nismo car with an automatic transmission. I had to come back to that and say, okay, why is that happening when the demographic of the buyer pretty much the same as it is for the A91 Supra, and ever since Toyota finally got off their ass and put the BMW 6-speed Getrag manual transmission in the A91, it's been selling almost 50% of the units.
Okay.
The take rate of the A91 B58 Supra, the 6-cylinder one, the more real one. I understand the LC500, which I saw one of yesterday.
Oh, very cool.
Sounded great. But the take rate is 47% on the 6-speed in 2023. The people buying cars with their own money brand new, shocking.
I know, it's weird. It's like when you say, hey, we want manuals, well, we're buying an expensive-ass car, you should give us a manual for it. And then, what? Like, what?
But no.
Also,
the
I sent you over the Anakin killing younglings.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Give me just a sec. Let's bring it up.
Sorry, my insurance adjuster called me. I seen security hologram of Anakin.
Oh, shit.
Killing younglings. And there's Anakin just in the grass drinking a bunch of younglings. The memes write themselves. Anyway, so yeah, of course the A91 sells better than manual. Why, what? Like, these aren't muscle cars. Like,
no, people buy the goddamn things to have a fun weekend car.
Yeah,
that is what it's for.
Imagine making a Civic Type R automatic only. Who the fuck would buy that? Like, what? What is that for? Like, miss your market as much as you can while you're at it.
Yeah, miss me with that market research.
Yeah, no, this is good. I'm glad that they did this, and I'm glad that, this is why I'm like, I would never, ever... Maybe they'll make a manual Nismo, because nobody's going to buy the automatic Nismo.
I hope so. And we've seen a lot more of that in the last 10 years, where manufacturers are actually bending to that pressure, because wouldn't you know it, they have to make money with their product, and if you sell somebody an enthusiast sports car, and you don't give them the enthusiast transmission option, they're not going to buy it.
No. There's a reason that nobody bought Infiniti J30s. Like, correct. Like, there's a very good reason for that. There's a reason that Infiniti didn't make a single sale of that car until the G35 came along and was great in every way. Like, credit where it's due to the G35. Like,
I found one at a U-Pole and I took the projector headlights out of it.
Yeah, like we talk a lot of shit about G35s, but like, you have to understand, like, when the V35 generation, my dad's generation, the 02 to, like, 09, I think is what it was, or something.
Started in 03 or 04?
It was 02, actually.
Really?
They had 1 year only where it had a very tiny Infiniti logo. They were actually really cool looking. They were much slower.
That design was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, but, like, you have to understand, like, in 2002, like, 240 horsepower, manual transmission, V6, sports sedan. Rear-wheel drive. Like, that's actually a good car.
When the G35 came out, the sedan specifically, I really liked it.
Yeah, and, like, there's a reason that I had my dad buy one, is, like, they were great vehicles. And, like, it was actually a Skyline that came to America. Mm-hmm. They didn't, like, mess with it. Like, it was just came to America exactly as it was. And they were actually very good for their time. And, like, if I could find a good condition, not fucked with Nismo
think our friends have shown
Yes.
up.
If I find a good condition, not fucked with Nismo G35,
Yeah.
like V35 generation, I would probably buy one. Actually, like, I still like them.
In fact, a nice unmolested one.
Yeah.
I think that might be a future collectible.
No, that absolutely is. Like, especially like my dad's spec, where it was the Nismo factory optional body kit, where
Yeah.
they didn't like call it a Nismo model. It was just like the sport package front end. That's
It was like
irreplaceable.
It was like the TRD appearance package, but
You
like
should
the
Control T and do like 2004 G35 sedan Nismo, like
sedan.
G35. Yeah, and then
We'll
image.
find it. We'll
yeah.
find it.
Actually, right there. That's
Yeah.
the Nismo one. That's
Are those
exactly
the factory wheels?
No, those
Those
are
look
not
bigger.
But those are that is effectively what my father had. And
Welcome, friends.
it's like that's like the peak of like G35. Like everything
Yeah.
since that's like kind of sucked a little bit more. And Tanabe actually made an exhaust that doesn't sound terrible because Tanabe will make anything sound good.
There's a part of me that it's pretty okay with a VQ35 as long as it has a junkyard Eaton M90 with
Yeah.
a homemade plenum on it.
That's fair.
Because it gets apparently all the noise weirdness from the VQ comes from the intake, not the exhaust.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Which is bonkers to me. But like I heard one of those in like a Drift Missile G35 a couple of years ago, and
There's
really,
also
I
an intake
liked it.
manifold called Kinetics that fixes the problem too.
Good. I would get that.
Yeah.
And
so-
then I would preventatively do the timing chains.
Actually, a Kinetics intake manifold looks really cool. I do a Kinetics intake manifold. I do headers with a high flow cat, and I would do a Tanabe exhaust system. It sounds great.
Anyway,
Like,
if you guys ever see a really clean first gen G35 manual sedan, buy it.
yeah, that's actually a good buy. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
But
see you
really,
later. Bye-bye. He just wanted to say
Oh.
bye before he left.
oh, you're leaving? Okay, that's fine. Thank you for the mimosa stuffs.
But yeah, like G35s were like cool back in the day, but now they're not. But
And now we have the modern replacement for it, which is a manual Bupra.
yeah, that's fun. There's actually a guy that lives in my neighborhood that has a vanity plate that says Bupra. It says BOOPRA.
Because it's a BMW.
Yes,
That's a good plate.
it's a good license plate. I
I
enjoy
really
it.
wanted to get Fiat for the Fiat, but it's not clever enough. Everyone calls the Fiat 124.
Yeah, no, and especially after I got spaghetti. Do you like gnocchi?
I do like gnocchi.
Yeah, get gnocchi. That'd be a good one.
What about gelato?
I think no, that one's too fancy.
Oh.
I want all my friends with Italian cars to not have douchey license plates
Fine.
because it's so easy to have a douchey license plate.
I know.
There was that 360 that was at the show today. He had a terrible license plate.
What
with
was
me.
it?
Temptress. Stupid. Get out of here. Miss me with that. Like if I had a Ferrari 360, Boyarde, Boyarde. That'd be
Perfect.
That would be my vanity plate. Chef
Perfect.
Boyarde. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, that would be my vanity plate for a 360. Yeah, Boyard. you could cut it down.
You gotta tell Andres to put that on
Yeah,
his car.
yeah, that'd be great. Like, there's so many great Italian, like Gabagool, Gabagul. Like, you could totally have great Italian license plates.
Gabagool.
Yeah, like, why are you like
That's
just
so good.
ruining your car with a try-hard license
That's
plate?
so good.
Like everybody, when you have a Ferrari and you have Temptress or like something edgy for your vanity plate, you're only getting laughed at, and people are laughing at you, not with you. When you have a vanity plate that's like spaghetti, well, you're like, look at this funny license plate, it's a spaghetti.
Spaghetti's from it.
I have found my car like posted on Instagram, people making fun of like how hilarious the plate is. Like, look, it's Italian car, it's a spaghetti. And I'm like, yeah, it was me. And go, why'd you get that? I'm like, it's Italian and everybody has try hard plates. And they're like, that's a really good plate. I'm like, thank you. Like, this is the correct plate, spaghetti.
Hell yes.
So
I love it.
yeah, Bupra is a good one. And then
Oh,
yeah,
man.
you should get no
Gabagool would be really
Gabagool
good.
would be really good. You should try and get that before somebody takes it.
I miss the plate checker website.
Yeah, G4BAGUL, GAB4GUL. Like, there's a lot of variants of Gabagool you could get. You should get.
put in the 3. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do Gabagool on the Fiat.
Gabagool.
That'd be so good.
People be like, oh,
That would be so funny. You need to do that, dude. Like when you get tabs, you have to do Gabagool.
Yeah, next time I go into a DMV to register something,
Yeah, you gotta get gabagool for that.
I still write checks and mail them in for my tabs normally.
Oh, man, maybe if you ever get yourself a Lancia Thema 836.
832.
832. That could be your vanity plate.
What a terrible vehicle, but I love it.
Yeah,
they're still so cheap. Like,
Yeah.
the car market didn't touch those.
Yeah, nobody wanted them. A front-wheel drive Ferrari V8 Lancia, that sounds like a terrible decision.
But, like, knowing that the Fulvia is cheaper and better is tough. Like, I kind of want Andres' Fulvia.
That's a really good car. I want a Fulvia sedan. Really bad.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that.
Because it looks like it's a random Fiat.
It's a completely different car.
But it's mechanically the exact same thing. Like, I love cars like that. So why don't you throw a Fulvia sedan on the screen for our people who are watching on YouTube.
Fulvia sedan.
Yeah, you have to specify sedan. Yeah, there you go. Just a normal car. I love that. I love the front
I think
end
we've
on
looked
that.
at this exact image before.
Yeah, you were very upset when you first saw it. It did not rub you well.
This digital photo came from the year that the car was made.
I don't know how you get the thumbnail. I did the exact same thing you did, and I got the full size image.
Well, you watched me do it twice today with full-size images.
I think you said it once. Go back. So right click. Right, no, go here.
I'm going to try this one.
Yeah, right click. Oh, hang on. Now open image in new tab.
Okay, so let's go to this one.
And then right click. Open image in new tab.
Fine.
Yeah, so you're not clicking open image in new tab. You're clicking there.
Anyway, so here's the sedan.
That looks great.
Yeah, but it looks exactly the same on the stream.
That looks fine. But
we don't stream in 1080p.
I think that's actually a very.
I think
that's actually a very. Oh, that is a B. Slaying my
It's a good B.
youngling.
It's a good B.
Yeah, he is a good B. Fun fact. Actually, terrible fact.
Great, thanks.
Wasps aren't as terrible as I thought they
What?
were, and they actually they have really sad lives. So when you actually see a wasp like this time of year, like this dude, he is a bee.
That's it. You get two okay Bs.
So wasps, when you actually see them, they don't produce honey, so they don't live through winter, and so they have workers to feed the queen until fall, and then the queen shuts off the pheromone, telling workers to make food, and all the workers basically get laid off until they die, and they aren't provided with food. So they're literally just a bunch of homeless wasps.
They also are asshole stingy boys.
Yes, no, they are. They are, but like they live a very trite and sad life after they die, because the queen burrows into the ground,
Okay.
and then lays additional queens for the next year, and then she herself dies, and all the workers, whenever you see them around you, they're just looking for something sweet, like honey or like sugar or something.
Okay.
And so. Yeah, that's just a very sad existence. And
It is, but also I wish they would be less of an asshole.
Yes, and the reason they're an asshole is because they're usually hangry, and they aren't getting food, because their only way of getting food is by attacking other animals and stealing their nutrients.
Give me a glucose, bitch!
Basically, yeah. So it's a very sad existence of wasps. Like, it's not undeserved, but it's a sad existence. So I've been giving them a little bit of
I
space these
concede,
days.
but also I feel the least bit bad about it.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about them, but like, it's also sad. But anyway, yes, so Lancia Fulvia, I want one of these. Just
I bet
look
these are
at that.
cheap as balls.
Absolutely cannot be worth a penny, because even the good ones aren't worth a penny. Like, and
Now
that's front wheel drive V4 sedan looks awesome. Like,
That's such a terrible combination. I love it.
yeah, but I mean, like, I love that, because it reminds me of like a Fiat 1100 or like any like mid-60s European sedan.
Going out of your way to buy an old front-wheel drive car seems so absurd, but in this case, it's like, well, hear me out.
Yeah, and like, so they actually had like spec for this where you could spec it out with the Fulvia HF engine.
Nice.
So you could get a sports sedan. They just never sold it as that. They didn't give you the rally suspension or anything.
Yeah, but you could
but
fix
all the
that,
shit
right?
bolts right on. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
So-
That's like buying a Lusso and putting the Abarth shit underneath it.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing with this car, and I think that'd be brilliant. That's the correct way to enjoy a Fulvia. I like that more than the Zagato.
And you know how I feel about four doors, so I'm inclined
I know.
to
Yeah,
agree.
that's why I thought you would like that. Anyway, I want to talk about the Minneapolis Mile, because I actually did that. Fuck off, fly. It was a fly.
I know. He's just being a prick.
Minneapolis Mile was great.
Okay.
The weather, as always, did not cooperate for outside. So there's a hailstorm the day before. It destroyed when I say destroyed a bunch of the cars that were that Mitsubishi had brought over for the ride along, like shattered the windshield. There's actually a Mercedes just outside of the show today. Cars and Caves that had gotten that and just annihilated with hail. Like it looked like a Titleist sponsorship. It was so bad.
Should have registered the Tesla.
But yeah, it was quite cursed. But Aaron, Dan's the co-founder.
Yeah, I met him at Supercar Saturday.
Yeah, Aaron's a really nice guy, but he was able to like turn around the outdoor show because all the cars that were going to be outdoors didn't show up. They paid, but they never showed up. Which
weird.
Fine.
Okay, I'm sure, but also
he found a bunch of random cars in traffic that were like, he's like, hey, are you gonna park down here for like Ed Sheeran and all that? And they're like, yeah. He's like, want to be in a car show? And they're like, is it free? He goes, it doesn't cost any more than parking for Ed Sheeran. Because like that's true.
True.
They're like, all right, word. So they just parked their cars out there.
That's kind of cool. Just going in traffic, finding interesting cars.
Filled it out with actually really good, like a Z32.
Hell yeah.
A couple of really nice Jaguars. Some like Audi S line cars, like a RS3, I think.
Nice.
It's like actually cool cars. Like showed up, and so yeah, Aaron was able to save that.
I want all car shows to become daily driver meets only.
Yeah, the Minneapolis Mile indoor show is actually incredible this year.
Good.
Really, really, really well.
Did it have more than 2 Mercedes?
If that, no, the Mercedes lineup sucked, but everything else was great.
I should bring Blubsky next year so
really
I can
should
win a trophy.
Yeah, you really should. Robbie brought her R31 GTSR, which is the greatest Skyline.
I think I saw a photo of that. In fact, I did because I saw your commentary.
Fucking good. It is a perfect car. So the GTSR was like...
They have a very eclectic but good taste in vehicles.
Yes, she has... everything she owns is great. And so, yeah, her GTSR is definitely the peak of that. And it's funny is I've been in a GTSR and a base model of that car.
Okay.
I've never been in any in-between models. And I will tell you that at no point does the R31 fail. It is always good. Like, as a slow 4-cylinder or as a fast inline 6, they're always enjoyable.
Grandpa spec cars are usually just fantastic.
I told her, I'm like, you know, knowing this, I almost want a Kip's grandpa car more because, like... It's just so weird. And she's like, that would be very strange. I'm like, you could do the clutch in the base model without taking the transmission or the engine out of the car. You could absolutely slide that engine forward like 6 inches and have more than enough room.
This is why I love E39 6-cylinder cars.
Because it's like that.
You need nothing.
Yeah.
You can do everything with no floor jack.
Yep. That's exactly what the R31 sedan's like. The suspension's soft enough. I bet you could probably crawl under it for an oil change of that. Like, just by picking up the front of the car and then just cracking the oil drain plug, and then you can get the oil filter from the top. Like, you could absolutely do an oil change without actually pulling the car off of the, like up in the air. Yeah, great cars.
I'm happy to hear that they pulled off the outside section, because I know there was a lot of last-minute issues with the outdoor section, but...
Oh, yeah, no, the city of Minneapolis is one of the most anti-doing anything useful business. There's a reason Minneapolis is the way it is versus St. Paul is the way it is. Because St. Paul, like, does stuff correctly. I was telling you, I've been petitioning Dan. I'm like, dude, why don't you just do this at the River Center next year and then just, like, host the outside section, like, there in the park across the street from where Pozzoluna used to be.
Do a downtown show, block off the streets, yeah.
Yeah, like that would be... Because the city of St. Paul will actually work with you. The city of Minneapolis doesn't.
Correct, because they like
Melvin
permit
Carter
fees, yeah.
actually cares about his
Do you know
city.
how fucking badass it would be if they closed down the entire park area around where Pozzoluna was and they just did the show there?
That's what I was telling you, man. That'd be what you can do. Because, like, Melvin Carter, like, actually cares about his city. Jacob Fry didn't grow up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've been talking to some people, and like, they didn't know that. Like, I've been absolutely throwing the city of Minneapolis under the bus.
I'm aware, and it's justified. So
yeah, and so, a lot of people are like, I'm like, yeah, Jacob Fry is not from here. He goes, and a lot of people are like, why is he allowed to run for mayor then? I'm like, I don't know, but I totally think that for any elected position, you should live within the city for at least 10 years. I'm like, for mayor, it should be 20 years within the state of Minnesota, no question.
Yeah.
Like,
because, you will be out of touch if you're not.
If you're not from here, you don't get it. Like,
I should not be allowed to run for anything in St. Paul because I grew up on the west side.
Well, I think, well, at least in Minnesota. Like, because, like, it's one thing, because, like, I don't want to, like, have the people that live in St. Paul be, like, just, like, the 300,000 people that live there. a lot of people move there later on in life and fall in love with the city. Like,
well, and those people are changing the city too.
Yeah, but like somebody like, for instance, like Ilhan Omar, she like spent her childhood in Africa and then came here, and she's genuinely a fantastic politician. And like what she did for her district while she was on Minneapolis City Council, like really revitalized that area of like the Cedar Riverside area. Really got a lot better when Ilhan Omar was on City Council before she moved on to Senate. And it's just like one of those things where it's like just the juxtaposition of watching how Melvin Carter operates as mayor, because he's from Minnesota, and Jacob Fry, who's just some boob from Pennsylvania. I would absolutely say, yeah, you should totally have to be from here. Like 20 years is like, that's not like, that's enough time where you're like, you know, you could feasibly be like a young kid. It's not like you're saying you have to be 30 to run for president
Right,
or something.
I'm not saying that, but like you do need
like,
time to adapt to like
yeah,
the
and
issues.
like I think like 20 years, like if you've been in the state of Minnesota, you have for 20 years, doesn't even have to be consistent, just a total of 20 years in the state of Minnesota that you have lived. I think that would give you enough perspective of lived experience, knowing the idiosyncrasies, because there's a lot of stuff that like
it's pretty unique.
you like if you're just some random urbanist, you're like, oh, you want to live on the light rail line in Minnesota, and I'm like, do you? Because you have to wait like 5 minutes to turn left on University going westbound.
Oh,
like,
my goodness.
Like there's like some small things where it's just like that doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but when you multiply that to every single person that lives anywhere near the light rail, that creates a problem for riders. And if you're like, oh, light rail, you know, it just has its poor people on it, and like that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it does.
It's smelly.
It smells like pee. It literally smells overwhelmingly of pee. But that's part of owning light rail, or being on light rail. But like, there's things where it's like, yeah, but there's like also things where it's like, if you recently moved here, and you haven't been to Minnesota, you go, oh, Minnesota's cold. We'll put a good heater in our new light rail system that we're adding in. Oh, thank you. I was just giving another youngling.
Yes. Yes. But it doesn't have a turtle necklace.
But like if you're not from Minnesota and you recently moved here and you're just enjoying thank you. I'll see you later. And you're just like you're just enjoying your position. You haven't actually like been around here, and you're just here. Oh, Minnesota gets cold in winter. You don't see statistically that we're 90 degrees in summer average for the Midwest. However, our 90 degrees has a dew point of 70. So you miss that.
On a good day.
Yeah, you miss that, where it looks like, oh, that's kind of hot. No, this is a soupy hot. This is a hot that, like, for instance, when...
You can't sweat to fix it hot.
Yeah, like when me and Ben went to go to the real-time collection hall when they first opened up in Wisconsin. Ben had never been to Wisconsin in the summer. And he wears his khakis, and he sees me get off the plane, and I'm wearing, like, the lightest, whitest shirt that you could see my nipples through because, like,
thank you, Ryan.
I wanted the thinnest piece of cloth around me in the shortest shorts I had. And he goes, aren't you a little underdressed for the heat? And I'm like, no, dude. He goes, it's only, like, 75. And I'm like, yeah, did you look at that dew point, though? He goes, no. It's 75, the dew point is 65.
Ooh.
He walks and goes, what the fuck is this?
Told you.
I made a mistake. I'm like, yeah, you made a mistake, dude.
I made
like,
a huge mistake.
That's the sort of thing where it's like, if you're not from Minnesota, you don't understand that.
Right.
And like, on paper, it doesn't really translate.
Right.
And so I think that's one of those small little idiosyncratic things where Melvin Carter can get it right when Jacob Fry can't. Because Jacob Fry's only been here in an official capacity. Like, he's never lived a life here. Right. He never knew what, like, Uptown was like in the mid-2000s.
And he never will.
No, he never will, because Uptown was, like, that was the hipster neighborhood. But, like, it was more than just the hipster neighborhood, because it was the hipster neighborhood that artists lived in. And it wasn't like, it's not like in, the best way to describe it is, like, Echo Park, Los Angeles, but cheap.
Okay.
That's how it was. And now it's obviously not. Now it's closed down businesses.
Well, that too.
The reason it's closed down businesses is everybody that was approving building permits had never lived there.
Right.
And so as they were building these building permits, they were crushing the neighborhood's soul. They were ripping out that Arby's that like everybody loved. Like nobody went to the Arby's, but the Arby's sign was iconic there.
Yep.
And so as soon as that went away, the heart of the neighborhood went away. And you have these people like Mayor Fry, where he really does not know what he's doing. And when you have a car show that's being predicated by people surrounding it not knowing what they're doing, it makes it very difficult where anybody other than Dan would not have been able to actually successfully host the show. Right. So Dan did a great job. The city really got in his way every step of the way.
Well,
and it was
MNCC is like Dan is a known quantity with this.
Well,
with
I mean,
MNCC
MNCC is its own thing. So like,
I understand, but like I'm just saying, Dan, whatever umbrella he's operating.
His Carmmunity thing. Carmmunity.
Minneapolis knows Dan.
Yeah, people know Dan. Dan is Dan. Dan is great at doing what he does, and
he doesn't have a history of making the city worse with his shows.
No, Dan works with the worst set of cards that he can possibly get, and he makes. Like, this is a one-man show, basically. Like, he
literally all the time, too.
Yeah, but, like, this is the thing is, like, Dan, like, he gets a lot of help from a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. But, like, the majority of the lifting that Dan and Bricklin do to make these shows happen, that if he did a half of what he did, these shows would not work. And he's able to pull together a show that all of Drive Cartel competes with.
Yep.
And Drive Cartel, don't get me wrong, they're incredible. I love what they do. And they take themselves very seriously. However, they are a team of people.
I was going to say, they got a bunch of people.
Yeah, Drive Cartel's a team.
It's not one apartment with two demons.
Dan is a guy. He's one dude, and he does this. And
I mean, Bricklin,
yeah,
credit where due, does a ton of work.
Bricklin does a ton, but like compared...
And Turbo, I think, does a bunch too.
Yeah, but like compared to like... If Newt needs some help, like he can send out like a little army, not really an army, but he can send out like, he's got wingmen that can help him out. Like... Bricklin and Dan, like, they have each other.
Yep.
And they are able to put on incredible shows. So, yeah, Minneapolis Smile was absolutely fantastic. That dude with the Kia that was the Finding Nemo Kia, that guy was a douche.
He is always a douche.
Well, he called the other guy with the Kia the F slur and threatened to key his car in front of somebody else and that person was so mad they left. And so he ended up not winning his award. But worse yet, when he left, he decided he wanted to be a petulant child about it. And the fire marshal wanted us to keep cars off until their rows were leaving. Mm-hmm. And he refused to listen. And then when he left, he was hitting his two-step. So he can go ahead and fuck off forever. And Ricky's a fucking turd. I will absolutely call Ricky out, and that guy sucks. Like,
maybe he'll show up tomorrow at Cars and Coffee.
I would hope that he doesn't. Oh, we should actually tell Aaron about that. But yeah, no, Ricky sucks.
He usually does.
Yeah, because Ricky needs to go ahead and not ever go to a car show ever again in his life. The other dude, the short little Jamaican dude, that's like, I'm not exaggerating this tall. And his son, oh yeah, he called him the F slur in front of his son too.
Great.
Yeah, Ricky's a fucking turd. But that Jamaican dude, super nice. His son, great.
He's Jamaican. Have you ever met a fucking shitty Jamaican person?
Ricky.
He's Jamaican too?
I think he might be like...
I'm just going to
like second or third generation, like in the States.
He's probably the part of Jamaica that Royal Caribbean owns.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But, yeah, no, Ricky blows ass, and he does not need to go to anything ever. So, but yeah, he was the only bad thing of the show. The rest of the show was excellent.
Yeah,
so.
I enjoyed it last year. The only gripe I had was the Mercedes section was...
terrible.
There were two cars.
Well, the Mercedes section's terrible because there's not much for Mercedes in the state.
That's true. And like the Red Pig SE never shows up to a show like that, which I get.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't bring my car, but
no, the Mercedes section's always terrible. But like, what are you gonna get? Like, I'd rather just not have a Mercedes award because like a handful of terrible cars show up than have an award and give it to a really bad car.
Well, there's a European award. If
I have a European
really
other. I actually did give the European other to a really good SLS GTR sort of thing. It was a white coupe with a carbon fiber package on it with like the 2-piece brakes. It was a really nicely spec'd out, like just totally stock SLS.
At least there was a Mercedes there.
Yes,
That
and
wasn't the skull and crossbones skeleton car.
Yeah, no, it was a genuinely well spec'd out Mercedes. I really enjoyed it a lot. So
I was lucky enough to have an 850i 6-speed in the Intermark section last time for that award.
very good.
Because there were a couple of really prime
As
BMWs last year.
it was a 2-day thing. I think 2 days is the way to move forward with these kind of events, because it made the event a lot better. A lot more people came in, and the thing is, like when I was doing judging, I did my judging on the first day and then finalized on the second day based off who came back.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yep, and a lot of people didn't come back, so I was able to change up some responses. There's a really good 750i, like the late 90s 7 Series.
E38?
Yeah, that one. E38 7 Series, that was there. That left, so he didn't get his first place BMW. But he was like a shoe-in. Like, it was a really good one. It's like white on white. It was lowered. Like, just a stellar car. And it's like the fact that he did that with like E38 and like made it like good and not just like kind of cobbled together. Like
Every one of those is just on bags with some fucking cheap ass wheels. I hate it.
Yeah, no, this one actually had like not cheap wheels, and it was in fact, I think it was probably on bags, but like the thing is like
It's probably better that you did that award.
no, the car's like the wheels are actually color matched. Like they weren't just like white wheels on white car. They were actually painted to match the color of the car itself. The interior was like a VIP style interior with like tucked like leather and stuff. I think it's cool,
Nice.
but like
I mean, those are the things you get on the 750, right? So
yeah,
I
yeah.
get you.
But I mean, like that's the thing. It's like it was here. I'm getting attacked by flies here.
Just the one. It's the one
It's
asshole
just this
fly.
one asshole fly. Let me bring up my community post about the car.
There
So I
was-
called him out and say like, yeah, you would have won an award, but you left.
Dick.
So sorry. It actually it wasn't color matched wheels. That one was like actually like everything.
Isn't that Tian's car?
I don't know, but it was really nice.
I think
liked
that's
it a
Tian
lot.
from Tin Bros.
I like it a lot.
It's
It was
got the E65. No, those are the FO1 Alpina V7 wheels.
yes, but it was a good car. Like I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
So,
I just don't like how lowered it is. And it's an auto.
it's a E38. I don't know what to tell you. So
Get manual swapping.
yeah, but I'm also not going to have a automatic transmission on a full size sedan be a hang up over, and then give it to like some cobbled together, rusted in half almost like E46 because it's a manual. I'm not going to do that.
Luckily, I had a perfect F80 M3 with HRE wheels, manual, lowered just so.
Very good.
The car was just clearly it was very deliberate how it was spec'd.
Yeah.
And it also happened to be a manual competition package, so he won.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about something way less cool than Minneapolis Mile. Do it. You won't. Do it.
Damn it.
Do you remember about 2010 when all these soccer
Oh
moms,
God, those stupid yeah.
Venzas,
Well, the Venza's
and
fine.
there were a bunch of others. I mean, the ZDX,
Oh,
Acura,
God.
But I mean,
The BMW was the BMW, the
the
X6.
the
I think?
X6, and then they had the 5 GT and the 3 GT.
I saw a 3GT the other day. Actually, it wasn't as bad to me now. Like it's aged a little bit better. Like if you get a manual 3GT, I wouldn't hate it as much.
They may have sold it that way. That'd be interesting.
If I can get a manual 3GT and put it on normal 3 suspension, like or at least 3X suspension, like
They
3XI suspension.
And okay, so
If I could lower it basically, if make it into a sedan, I'd be okay.
I feel like that's kind of what's happening to the world right now because I had no idea, but Acura actually brought back the ZDX.
Oh.
Yeah, remember
Well,
that
also
like 2-year only thing?
accurate is hideously unimportant to everyone. Nobody
Oh yeah,
cares.
we've seen the Integra.
Yeah, nobody cares.
No, nobody cares.
I
But-
genuinely cannot tell an Integra from any of their other cars
Well, yeah.
until I look at the back and it says Integra. Like
If
they're
you-
just absolutely anonymous.
if you bought an Integra and you put a TL badge on that, I'd be like, yeah, it's a TL.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Or like a TLX, whatever the hell they
Yeah,
call it
and
now. But
nothing about
that-
this is important to me. Yeah.
It sucks because apparently that's the Type S. It's a Civic Type R, but it's an Integra.
Yeah.
And
Actually good.
It's better in some ways, but like apparently the stereo's worse in the Acura, and the seats are better in the Acura. So like there's a couple like really diverging things.
It's awful. I hate that. Anyway.
Anyway, the ZDX is back, but it's not like a jelly bean with a can opener on the front anymore.
Oh, it doesn't have the tooth? It's
No,
called the
it-
Acura tooth, by the way.
I'm going to call it a can opener, but...
They call it a castle grill, but every car reviewer called it a tooth.
The tooth.
It looks like it's got one big-ass tooth, yeah.
It's not quite to the point where they put the Eclipse name on a CUV, but, like, this is clearly just them taking an old, already trademarked name from something that at least had some character to it, and they're putting it on their cross.
I couldn't imagine taking a ZDX and making it worse, but they managed to do it. Wow.
Yeah.
Because the ZDX is already, like, pretty bad.
That is nightmare fuel.
Yeah,
the original ZDX, it is literally a jelly bean with the tooth on it. I mean,
yeah.
They were all sold in
you
plum
also
purple.
you could not get out of the back seat, I remember.
Yeah. Oh, the coupe roof line they put on that
God,
thing.
I hate that piece of shit.
The first gen ZDX.
Why are they bringing it back?
I don't know. But
anyway,
at least we got fun shitty things like the cross cab.
Yeah, like they made goofy shitty things.
Right,
yeah.
right. Like I understand, man. Like if you really love convertibles, but you need 4 seats and you want an SUV,
For some reason.
boy, that's a weird combination of things. But like Nissan hooked you up.
Yeah, you got the thing, like the thing that nobody asked for. But like, okay,
Just make sure that you buy a spare.
that's
top
awful. I
assembly
hate
now.
that.
I'm not going to cover anything about this, but like
That sounds like a piece of shit, and it looks expensive, and it is expensive. It is expensive and forgettable.
why is that not just an RDX? That looks like an RDX to me.
I don't get it. Like, this means nothing to me.
Do you remember that a bunch of times we said Acura's out of touch with their demographic?
Oh, Acura's utterly irrelevant. You know, we were talking. You know, I was talking about like how, like Toyota and stuff. Like they have like their cars, or if like they kill them, they lose their everything. Acura did that, and then never came back.
Mm-hmm.
And when they brought it back like the new NSX. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good car, but like nobody cares, dude.
Did you watch Haggerty's piece with Camisa on the NSX?
No.
He has some things to say about the second gen NSX.
Yeah, it's not.
It was very heartening.
It's not the same car. It's just like it exists.
It
Okay.
isn't, but he drew a lot of very interesting parallels to the point where like they were both like technological showcases of their time.
Yeah.
Which was really
I
interesting.
mean, that's fine. Like
the second gen sucks though. Don't get me wrong.
the second gen, yeah, it's a showcase, but like, what's it achieving though? Like, there's a lot of cars that are showcases. Like, technically, the Escalade 900 or 600 is a showcase, but like, it doesn't mean that it's like anything good. Like,
Right.
being a technological showcase, like a Halo car that it's like actually desirable versus just like a Halo car that sucks. Two different things.
Yep.
A Chrysler Crossfire at the
Oh
time
my
was its
God.
Halo car. Like, okay.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. Like, okay. Like, good. That's not anything to write home about, though. Like,
One of the most
don't be proud of that.
cut Mercedes that you stapled plastic Chrysler pieces onto was your flagship automobile.
Yeah, being a flagship and being good are like those aren't mutually dependent upon each other.
But Ryan, it's got an electronic spoiler.
Cool. Like, I don't know. Acura, like, I have to try so hard to like care about modern Acura
And you
Honda.
shouldn't, because we determined like the last really good era for Acura was like the early 90s,
I'd say no, early 2000s.
early 2000s.
Yeah, because they like still had some stuff when they made the K series.
that
but,
is
like,
true.
But like
Yeah,
genuinely, like, but the thing is, like, they haven't done anything revolutionary since the 90s. Like, since Soichiro Honda died, Honda's been basically just floundering for 30 years. Like, they spent 10 years living off their laurels, and
And
then
the
like
goodwill.
yeah, their goodwill, and then like a broken clock is right twice a day. They made the K series, and that was it. And then everything they've done since is not something that could not have been achieved by anybody else. Like the new Civic Type R coming to America, it's good. I'll admit that. But like that car, as good as it is not special.
No.
Like anybody could have made that. There are special cars in the world that have been made since then. Like the Fiat 500 is a special vehicle.
So good.
Like the Corolla GT4 is a special vehicle. Like
And the new GR.
I'll even give the BRZ. Like, yeah, those are special vehicles that are very unique and like only could be achieved by that specific company.
Toyota makes
but, like,
a lot of good product.
Like Honda, like they've not done anything like that.
Yeah, Honda,
Like,
where's your Corolla GR?
even the Prius is its own thing, and like Honda, they made the Insight. That was cool, the first gen, but like everything after that's been like,
Do you remember the second gen Insight? Yuck.
yeah, or like the CRZ.
Meh. meh sandwich.
No, even though CRZ was basically a modernized second-gen Insight.
And it drives well, but the powertrain is just so half-baked.
Yeah, it was totally... And they, again, did not listen to what the market wanted. The market wanted an SI, where it's like, just do anything to give it
Let's
some
put
power.
the Honda Fit engine in it and put a hybrid in there.
And make no power. And they're like, well, the CRX didn't make any power. I'm like, yeah, the CRX did not make any power. You are correct. However, the thing is, everybody loves the CRX because they make the CRX make power. And you cannot with the CRZ.
Right. Yeah, like, you can bolt on a supercharger.
Nobody gave a shit about a stock CRX. Like, and even then, like, it didn't make power. Correct. But when you drove a CRX relative to a Chevy Celebrity with an Iron Duke, you noticed it was a very different special vehicle. It was alive, and the CRZ never was. And so that's, like, anyway. Yeah, Honda Acura have not been relevant for a long time. Like, honestly, the Fit was a special car because the Fit felt like a CRX.
That is because it's a modern Civic essentially.
Yeah,
that is the only Honda I recommend to people, and I do regularly because the Fit is a great car.
Yeah, and they've been discontinued for a couple of years, but you can still find them used.
It's gonna be the new
But
Mirage.
anyway, what I want to talk about here before we round out the episode. Speaking of like classic cars and stuff, I want to talk about seasonality.
Okay.
Because where I work as a day job.
At the bat?
Yeah, at the bat. There's a lot of evidence about if seasonality actually affects car sales. And what do you think? Do you think seasonality has any effect?
I do. But
statistically,
like with convertibles, right?
No, statistically, none.
Really?
Even in the state of Minnesota. Because we've been tracking all these different cars, and now that we have so many model pages for everything, like we don't have just a few model pages anymore. It's like almost we're working on every car eventually having a model page, or not quite every car, but like almost every car. And with these model pages, we're able to find out that like there's literally no effect on seasonality. Like even within cars being sold in Minnesota to Minnesota buyers.
I would probably lose that bet, especially with convertibles.
And so this is the thing. This is what sounds weird, but then when you think about it, like it makes sense because like it is a total myth. Because like if you're spending $30,000 on a car, you're not living with your mom. You're not like impulse buying that.
Right. Yeah.
Like maybe on the market like the sub $5,000 cars where you have to like trick somebody into buying your car, you might be able to like have some seasonality effect. But like realistically, like winter always is going to happen. You're always considering winter storage. Like if you were spending $30,000 on a car, you have a place to put it. Like seasonality has no effect on that. True. But also you're like, okay, well convertibles. You're like, clearly convertibles have to because you only enjoy it half the year. Well, no, you can still drive a convertible in winter. But also, if you're spending $30,000 on a classic car, you're not driving in winter. Like if you had a hardtop Z4 versus a ragtop Z4, you're not driving that in winter because you're concerned about enjoying your Z4 in winter. Or if you are going to drive it in winter, it's not going to have any effect because you're going to drive it in winter regardless because they sold the car new in winter. Like,
okay, that's like the best thing I've heard all day. Like, they sold the car new in winter.
Like, it's not like somebody goes, oh shit, it's winter, I can't buy this Z4 while they're in financing. Like, no, they either thought it through or they didn't. But the thing is, also in summer, you still have shit you have to deal with.
Oh my god.
Because like, snow sucks. You think of snow because you see it.
Yeah.
But like in summer, if you're buying, say, AW11 MR2 and you're like, fuck, I don't want it to rust out over winter. Well, you don't want to get hailed on or have the dashboard cracked in half from heat.
Yeah.
Like
we give winter a lot of shit, but like it's pretty
no,
good for cars.
summer's just as shitty. Like look at cars in Southern California. They all look the way they do. Their paint's baked.
What paint?
Yeah, exactly. You look at cars in Georgia, or like in Kansas, they're always made of like they look like golf balls.
They look like Mars, dude.
Yeah,
they're all like rubber. It's all crazed.
Yeah, it's all crazed, and all the panels are wavy because they've been hit with hailstones. Like, and that's the thing is like
that was just a little bit of tornado damage.
Yeah, statistically, like it is really mind blowing because like even I thought there's like some sort of effect. Like I always thought like
I would have thought so too.
I always thought like by telling people this, I was just like, I'm just like towing the line so like people like sell their cars in winter because otherwise we just have everybody selling all at summer at the same time. But like. No, like realistically, like we have cars that do terribly in summer and do terribly in winter. We have cars that sell great in summer and sell great in winter. There is a very, very negligible, less than $1,000 effect about.
That's crazy.
On cars. But that is greatly outweighed by seller presentation.
Sure.
And
yeah.
It's seller presentation and the quality of the car itself. And so winter can have an effect on seller presentation if the seller doesn't want to go out and take underside photos. That's fair. But like that, again, is not directly winter. That is the seller presentation. Right. You have workarounds.
That's seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, that's the seller themselves, not the car. But there's another effect where actually winter has a benefit, is everybody defaults to selling their cars in summer. Mm-hmm. So if, let's say, you have a Z4 that you're selling, you are selling your Z4 in a flood of Z4s because everybody is selling their Z4 in summer.
Sure.
But actually, the best way to sell a Z4 is actually, like, if you're selling on, like, Burning Trailer or something, like, sell it in winter. There's less cars for sale. Somebody's going to be sitting there going, man, I want a convertible for summer. Because that's also a thing. Yep. Like, we have people that literally during people with seasonal affective disorder will consider making summer purchases in the middle of winter to make themselves feel better. And that's actually that counteracts the fact that you can't immediately enjoy it.
I feel like there's probably a supply and demand component to that too, though, right? Because if you have a flood of cars that would be worth more, but you're competing, they come down a little bit. And if in the winter you're the only one, maybe it comes up a little bit.
It does. And
so that's
literally, and that's the thing is we have discovered that it is literally a wash.
That's incredible.
Like it is statistic.
I believe it.
Yeah, it is a statistic wash. And like, I've been telling people this, and like finally we have like the research,
data, right?
like the actual data on this, and it is a statistic.
Like, no, look,
it is a statistic wash because like you'll find some. Yeah, there are some outliers, but like when you start looking at the outliers, there's so many other factors that where it's like the difference in value that you see in the car can easily be attributed to the car itself. Where it's like the car being sold in summer that sells poorly, like. Yeah, it was silver on silver SMG.
Right. Oh my god.
Or silver on gray SMG. Like, okay. But the car it sells in winter for record money is,
Interlagos on cinnamon.
Exactly. Manual Interlagos cinnamon, like no nav heated manual
I can only get so erect.
Yeah. Like it'll be the best one you could possibly think of. And it's just like that literally will make a difference. Or like there'll be like in summer it'll be two like
I want color data breakdown and bring a trailer.
Two Cosworth, we're working on that. Two Cosworth 190s.
Right.
And then the dude uses his photos from 3 years ago and refuses to take more.
And it's smoke silver.
And the other one is North American headlights smoke silver, but the guy actually detailed the car and had professional photos taken and took his photos in the golden hour so that smoke silver looks as good as possible.
I actually love smoke silver.
Yeah.
But the black cars bring more money.
Yeah, exactly. But like the thing is that seller presentation you can have a shit car with good presentation sell for more than a good car.
Pay a photographer.
I have personally watched a SMG M3 sell for more than a competition package M3 based off of presentation.
I believe you.
Because the competition package, the dude like never cleaned it. He beat the shit out of it. He didn't take any good photos. All his photos were in his driveway. They were all taken with his phone vertically.
Oh no.
Yeah, all of his videos were horizontal. So his videos were actually sideways though.
Good.
When he uploaded them. So the car pointed downwards.
That is so confusing.
But like
that is so confusing.
He just made like just the worst thing. But like then you see a SMG car outperform it because the SMG car paid for the snapper photos. Actually
uploaded service records of the rod
bearings. Had all of the service records, showed that the rod bearings had been replaced, showed all the stuff, and literally
I would buy the
watched
SMG car.
Absolutely, yeah, and
because
that's the
you
thing.
know what, I
people
can
do
fix
that.
part.
Like people do that. There's so many examples of cars that have done this. Like there's like 323 GTXs where they didn't sell in winter because the guy just didn't want to take his photos in winter, and it's like you could have
car.
Yeah, you could have taken good photos, but instead you like went out and took 3 photos a day, and we had to fight back and forth for like half the winter, and it finally sold and it finally went live in February, and you didn't take the time to actually take good photos, even though you were offered every opportunity to take good photos. And we even have like a photo guide.
I was going to say, it's not that hard if you want to do it yourself too, but I cannot imagine a scenario where paying a photographer, which I think you guys even offer the
Yes,
service.
we do. Yep. Yeah.
Where you don't get that back.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing is the photography service does pay back big time, and if you like our photography, we do a minimum of 4 videos from photographers.
Okay.
With the service, so you get photo and videography services, but yeah, that's super helpful. And like even if like you say like if you live in like rural Pennsylvania and there's no photographer nearby, we have a really 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 good photo guide.
Yeah.
That like we've recently revamped to like show you exactly what to do and give example
It's
photos.
like a gray cutout where your car should be and like do this.
Pretty much, yeah. No, it is literally.
Oh man, you guys should have an app that literally will get camera permissions and it won't let you take the photos if they're not perfect.
That'd be amazing.
Wouldn't that be stellar?
But like even in the photo guide, like we have a simplified photo guide where it just tells you what to do, and it's just there's so many resources in the world these days to really make it so if you want to sell your car for good money, you can.
Yeah.
Like it's just
It's a choice.
You're literally choosing at this point. I don't want to represent the car well. I'm lazy. I think the car is going to sell fine. Okay, cool. Well, you want to be lazy and you're not going to make any money. So that's fine. There will be some guy that will buy your car as is. He'll get top bid. He will do nothing and flip it literally on the same auction site a month later after a detail.
I like
for
that
a
tag now.
Yeah.
Where it shows if the car has already been on BIT in the
Yeah.
past. I like that.
Yeah,
It's cool. It's fun to watch the history.
Yeah, it is. And like it's literally just like, yeah, somebody just bought the car in branch yard and then like put tires on it and then sold it for like $5,000 more.
Also did the one service that's super critical or some shit.
Yeah, like just like did like literally the one service.
I bought the SMG M3 with no service history, and I did cam bolts and rod bearings and took pictures. There you go. Bye.
And there you go. Yeah, I spent like $3,000 and got $10,000 back.
If even.
Like yeah, like $3,000 for hiring your own photographer, not going to snapper.
Right.
Like, because the thing is, the snapper is like.
Oh, now you got 2 flies, Ryan.
No, this is awful. Like,
Sorry.
yeah, snapper like is a really great deal, and it's mind blowing. It's not just Bring a Trailer either. Like this is literally.
No,
It's representative. If you go on Cars and Bids, if you go on
the old
P-Car
standbys,
Market,
dude.
or you go anywhere. Like,
Cargers, Auto Trader, like
yeah, like now that you have like consistent like actual like history of cars, like yeah, no, cars are selling fine, and it's like dealerships will not sell a BRZ in the middle of winter, and the reason they're not selling the BRZ in the middle of winter is it's locked away in the show floor.
They got those like AI images and fuck.
Yeah, no, but like
That's how I get my cars cheap.
yeah, you buy them in winter, yeah, but
No,
like
I buy them with bad photos.
that's I mean, like yeah, you just
The Murcielago,
winter, yeah, sorry.
0 interior photos.
Yeah.
None. It had 5 shitty external photos with the doors up.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Is also door up photos do not matter. Everybody knows how door works. The only time you should ever take a photo with anything operational is if it's a known problem. Like
Right?
if you have a
Show a cross cab with the top halfway down.
yes, if you have a Bricklin
Oh my god.
and you show both doors open evenly, that's good. But like you don't need to open your doors on your 300ZX, dude. Like chill out. Close them. Close it all up. Make it look nice.
Do you see the Bose logo though?
Yeah, I'm sure I do. Yeah, close the door though. Like, fuck. So yeah, fun fact: seasonality does not exist. So
That's actually really, really cool information, and I believe you, but it's nice to get that perspective. And like, really, the thing that made it click for me was it makes sense. There's more supply.
Yep.
So
The supply
even
and demand,
though
yeah.
your car should be worth more there, and everyone thinks it is, there's more competition, so you have to bring it back down. Versus in the winter, and you might even get a better spec car in the winter.
yeah, and it is also the thing is like what we also noticed. Just to bring this back before we're done.
Oh, it's all good.
So people in southern states. So let's look at buying like this. Actually, I did this myself. I was looking at Brunton Stalker, which is a LS powered Caterham.
Oh my god.
Incredible.
Suicide machine.
Yep. So I was
Holy
looking at Caterham prices and where cars went between winter and summer, and that's a car where it's like obviously this is a problem to own in winter, but this is also a car that is a problem to own in summer because guess what? You don't have any sort of climate control
Also, basically no protection from anything in the environment.
all winter. Everybody in Texas and California were buying them all up. all summer, people in Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and like Maine were buying them up because it literally would switch. And like, because like
It makes sense. It's like
that's the only time I've seen any sort of seasonal. But again, it didn't make a change in the price, as the price is still the same.
It just changed
but
where the buyer
that was the thing, is like, even though there was no seasonality difference, that was I probably chalk that up to like an effect of being like, I can immediately enjoy the car. And again, that's not going to affect you in the least. You're going to get the money. And
Right.
That ultimately we still had Caterhams and up Brunton Stockers like making record prices
Brunton Stocker.
in June and in November. So prices are prices. You're going to get your money. It's going to be market value any time of the year. There's always somebody that wants to buy it.
I don't sell cars that often, but like when I do, it's not because I'm trying to time a market. I think that's a fool's errand. It's because I need the garage space at that point. But I have no illusion that it's worth any different throughout the year. But I mean, you asked me earlier, point blank. I'm like, do you believe in seasonality? I'd be like, yes, I do.
That's like I had to make this a big ass topic because I was like, this is the thing that exists, and I'm blown away by it.
Or it's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a thing. The myth is a thing.
Correct.
Yes. Yep. Anyway,
right.
Let's get our last two topics. Just blast through them real quick.
So since Monterey Car Week, it just happened. I want to talk about the first time I saw a Lotus with the wacky stacks.
Oh yeah, the fuel injection.
Oh my god, dude! The velocity stacks on these old Lotuses. There's something just immensely bonkers.
They go like this, yeah.
They intertwine. They're at different levels, and none of them are straight up.
Yep.
So you see this thing, and it looks like it looks like
super
stalagmites in a cave or something like that. But anyway, Lotus, and unfortunately this is rendering, so I don't know if they're actually going to do it. But the Type 66 race car, they've made hints at making a new one.
Oh, they should. And they should put wacky stacks on it.
This is the rendering. So this is a manual wacky stack, fuel injected now.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
I love
Give us that. Look how beautiful it is. It's so classically
cool.
Amazing. Look at this little shifter box. It looks like...
I actually saw a...
like that.
I saw a Ford...
wacky stacks.
I saw a Ford FE powered like hot rod of sorts with wacky stacks on it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was like 70s like mechanical fuel injection. It was very cool. It was in like, it was just like some sort of like fiberglass like cool ass hot rod.
I saw and you will know what this is better than I will.
Oh, it's a Celine Fox body, yes.
But it had
fuel injection, yes.
Fuel injection with the stacks. It's just so cool.
Yeah, no, individual throttle body fuel injection on V8s is great. Yeah,
and like I feel like that's the. I don't know what racing series it was in the 90s, but like Ford sponsored a lot of racing series.
Yeah, that's IMSA, yeah.
Like, that's got to be very similar to the configuration.
IMSA IROC is actually a racing series. That's what it was for. But International Race of Champions is what IROC is.
Oh.
Yeah.
With or without the Z? Buddy. I'm a funny guy.
Also, most Pontiac like names like Can-Am, Grand Am.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. All right.
Basically,
Canadian American, yeah.
Trans Am. Like every single Pontiac is named after a racing series, except for the Trans Sport, which is just a name.
Wow,
that's
a Dustbuster.
That is a pun.
That is named after a Dustbuster.
It's a pun, yes.
But I mean, just look at
that's so cool. I love that. That's really good.
Lotus, you're already a low volume manufacturer. This is going to be a race only vehicle. It's not going to be street legal. It's not going to count against your car. Just fucking make it.
When I do, if I ever get that D series put into a car. Because I have.
Is that the car you showed me earlier?
No, that would probably be where the D series goes. But I've got the individual throttle body manifold for it. The ITBs would totally have.
Just chrome that shit out, put it on that green car.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
I hope you buy that.
I really hope I can get it. I really want that really bad. So, I want to talk about. Yep.
You want to talk about what?
Yep. Let's go to my next topic. Yep.
Hold on. Yep goes on sale. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So the Wuling Baoyang Yep is a tiny EV SUV that is just $11,000. This is what I need.
Yep.
This is it.
I'm a little disappointed that the yep doesn't have an exclamation point.
I know. Well, I mean, it's also in Chinese, so I don't think they have traditional like Western
Are they excited
style.
about it at least?
I'm sure they are. Look at that. How could you not be?
It's yellow, and it looks like a little...
It's an EV, like, Jimny.
Jimny. Sorry,
yeah, it's an EV, like, Jimny, like, Bronco-looking thing.
Look at the back on.
Holy shit, it says hello, and it's got hearts on it.
It's like a little Defender Jimny.
God, I want that.
This is so good. Yep.
Yep, that's the car for me.
It's got 4-spoke wheels, like a Mini Cooper GP.
67 horsepower, 103 pound-feet of torque. Electric motor.
Oh, it's so
Single electric motor.
188 miles.
Hell yeah.
62 mile an hour top speed. Beauty.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want. That's like a absolutely electronically limited 62.
Oh, well, it's probably based on the Wuling Mini, which has not very much final drive.
No.
But I'm sure it's spunky around the...
I'd probably get it. I would love to drive that. Oh, I got to drive a Pooro Jr.
Oh.
Actually, finally. Speaking of this. And that was at Hot Sauce Tuesdays a couple weeks ago. When you weren't there.
Well,
and
I've only been to one.
No, it's fine. But
I'm working on bettering myself.
Yeah, no, it was. I got to drive a Pooro Jr. Let me tell you.
And?
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Was it an Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Very good. What engine?
The 1.1 gas.
Oh, yes.
So it's a little high geared. So the guy had like some like 17-inch like XXR wheels that he just like picked up. This like Puerto Rican dude. He's really nice. But he had some like XXR like giant wheels on rubber bands. He's like, yeah, I just drive this to like work all the time. So I needed that to like lower the RPMs for fuel economy.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was like, the thing is you can actually just keep the same differentials and just get the transfer case gearing out of a diesel, and it actually cuts RPMs a ton.
Yeah, I could see
on
that
the
if you
highway.
have a 2-ratio transfer case.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm like, oh shit, that's the move right there. Is the diesel high range? Yeah,
dude, OEM diff swapping needs to make a comeback.
Yeah, and that would kind of be a perfect vehicle. Like even without the diff swap, it'd still be perfect. I'd be fine with that.
Well, I understand, but I've done a bunch of OE diff swapping, and I really am about it.
Yeah, no, it makes the car totally better.
Well,
yeah, 100%.
You can either really pursue fuel economy, or you can shave like a second off the 0 to 60 time if you go with
that.
Well, yeah, probably.
Same with the Buick. So.
Oh, you've got a 279. How about the 410s?
There was a dealership in the 60s, in 1961 specifically, of Buick, and they did a AFX, so a pro stock factory dragster with a Invicta 2-door. And what they did, so with AFX, you're not allowed to do any aftermarket parts other than what the car comes with.
Okay, but like OE parts catalog's fair game?
Yep.
Nice.
And so the Buick happened to make a Buick commercial, which is based off the Gallat commercial, that used a ambulance differential, which was super short ratio.
It's like a 556 or something.
Yeah, like seriously, that's actually pretty close. It was like a 5.3 differential.
Well, dude, diffs are crazy. Like, there's only so many different ratios you can cut.
I think it was 5.4 to 1 or something. But like, he did that, and then he got a fixed pitch torque converter.
Okay.
Which is weird.
Ditch the switch pitch.
Well, as for the Dynaflow, so you could have just the 1.2.
Sure.
On it. And then I think what he did that, and then I think they did. I don't think it was a dual carb manifold. I can't remember what carburetor they did. Different factory carburetor, the dual exhaust system. But I think after the header, they got let it go off the header and called it a day.
Sure.
Because they couldn't actually do the dual exhaust running because of the frame rail, so it's like let it go out. Like,
also probably no factory part for a dual exhaust.
Yeah, so it's like kind of like, I think you can modify the exhaust, and that was it.
Okay.
And so you just did like a little like shorty exhaust out the fenders, and it ran like, I think like they got like 14 or 15 out of
on a 60s tire.
Yeah.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah, like, let me see here.
That's intense.
I'm gonna have to do some research on this because this is a long time ago when I last saw.
Well, add it to the 295 topic then. I want to hear about this.
Buick drag.
I'm gonna put it at the top because I want to hear about that.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I can find this
real
quick.
AFX?
It might have been AFX. It might have been a different class. So yeah, it was funny enough, the differential is for both ambulances and hearses. So sorry, it was a 444. That's what it was. It was a 444 rear end.
Okay, that's not as shallow as I would have thought, but that's still, I mean, it's an absurdly short gear ratio.
Yeah, so his first pure stock Buick he did is 1955, and it ran a 15.6.
In 1955?
Yes.
That's lighting the world on fire performance.
In 61, he did 1473 at 93 miles an hour with a 444 rear end.
It's a hell of a trap speed.
Yep. It was, yeah, so he was able to trick people into thinking it was a power glide when it was just a Buick transmission with a fixed pitch
well, what's the difference between a Dynaflow with a fixed pitch converter and a power glide?
Yeah, exactly. It's the final drive, ultimately. But let's see here. It's like his car was literally 59 Invicta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was literally just a 59 Buick.
Oh, I'm angry. Oh, I'm
I
ready.
actually, that's my favorite front end of any American car ever made. And it's because it looks angry.
I like friendly, happy cars like the Yep.
So, all right. So, 1959, 4,600 pounds, 15 seconds flat, with 444 gears and .030 shaved off the heads. You brought it down to 1470.
That had to have upped to the compression ratio
A
quite
little
a
bit,
bit.
yeah, but still stock parts.
.030 is a big chunk of meat off some heads.
So, 1961. Here we go. 1961 Invicta, 444 gears, 30 shaved off, and then Casslers, I guess, are the tires.
Probably pizza cutters or something. Or pie cutters?
He ran in 1962 the best time of that car with the... Oh, so it was a switch pitch. So it was on-off. Like, it wasn't a variable. It was a variable pitch, but he had an actual shifter for it.
Okay.
For switching
so he could still
the vanes.
control.
Yeah, a controllable. Gotcha. Yeah. 1421
That's pretty good.
for all stock parts out of a Buick. So his name was Lenny Pop Kennedy.
Why
What a
couldn't
name.
it have been Lenny Pop Kenny?
I know, right? Kennedy is still pretty good.
It is, but it's not Kenny.
I just added the link there. So we'll do a little bit more on him maybe next time. But
the Autopian link? No, that's
no,
not-
it's the one I just added right before Beer on 294. Right below Beer.
Oh, sure,
Reynolds
sure, I gotcha.
1915 black spot.
I gotcha. Let me drag it up to the correct window. Bam.
So that's his later GS that he did. That was still with, the GS 400 was.
Tab. God damn it.
No, it's fine. Just don't worry about it because that's I hate the GS. Like, keep going down. Scroll down. You'll see right there.
There's the Invicta.
That's his 59. That's his 61 down there, and then there's the 61 drag racing, a Pontiac. So very small photo because it's a blog spot, but
It was probably
you'll see
scanned in
right
the
there
90s.
that is a 1961 Buick Invicta bubble top racing against a 63 Le Mans or a Tempest. Yeah, so that's just cool as fuck to me. I love that. And
That's pretty impressive.
all
Speed-wise.
factory Buick parts.
I really, really, really like factory parts in the wrong place.
Yes, and that's everything he did was factory parts in the wrong place and making it fast as hell. Yeah, I can't get enough of stuff like this. Like, this is why drag racing was cool. It was literally just like, let's throw stuff together that exists that you can do in your backyard.
I was talking to Tom about M54 swapping E30s because they were at a chump race last weekend and they had somebody there that was mopping
Everyone.
the floor with a 2.5. I'm like, yeah, you can do it with. There's only one thing you can't do with factory BMW parts, and that is the wiring between the chassis and the engine computer, which isn't that hard. But like, you can literally bolt it in, cooling system, transmission, motor mounts, everything. You can do with factory BMW parts, just in the wrong place.
That's incredible.
I know.
I can't get enough of that. I think so. So finishing up with this guy.
Yeah. He
Once
really loves horses.
Once he got out of doing just totally stock stuff, he put on a TH400, which is just he started swapping from other GM platforms that would bolt on to Buick stuff while keeping a Buick platform without getting into actual aftermarket.
Sure.
1230 in 1966, the best time of 111 miles an hour.
That is a market improvement.
Yeah. That's what a TH400 does. That's why people are like, wow, the TH400 is a great fucking transmission. No, it is a great fucking transmission. Like, it is a night and day difference for drag racing. Because
that's a lot faster than my Model S. My car will do 12.9 at 100.
Oh, holy shit. And this is with Stinky Buick from the 60s, using factory...
With ancient tires. Yeah.
With parts that just exist, and rear-wheel drive only.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see here.
I just like his painting of the horse in the farm field.
So he finally did... All right, let's see here. So he did... His final car that he did was in 1970, I think. It was that GS that you saw.
Yep, that 455 Stage 2.
And he was able to get that with a 1000 CFM modified thermoquad, which is the factory.
Thermoquad.
Yeah, that was the factory, the factory carburetor, but thermostatically.
The secondaries.
Thermostatic secondaries, 1000 CFM, by the way, and this is still on a nail.
Big boy carb.
This is still on nailhead. Let's see. So. Stage 2, or I guess it wasn't a 4. This would be just a Buick, so this would not be a 401. This is a 455. Stage 2 heads, Edelbrock intake, CF 400 carburetor, 11-inch tires.
Well, Edelbrock intake isn't stock.
Yeah, so this is when he left that class.
But if you're on 12.0, that's pretty good.
This is like he didn't open up the engine outside of like stuff. The engine did not leave the car for these modifications.
Sure. This is a one-beer garage job.
Yes. So that car that you're looking at right there, it did better than that, and it did 123 miles an hour, 10.7 second quarter mile.
Jesus.
10-second car, pretty much stock with, like, modifications. Like, next day, you can do it in your backyard modifications. That's pretty fucking cool. That's a lot cooler than Fat Dads and Road Glides.
Oh my god,
like,
Fat Dads and Road Glides.
That is a lot better than your average, just like boob driving some random Mopar where he just threw a couple of go fast parts on. He still has an open rear end and doesn't know what he's doing. Like, that's why muscle cars were considered cool. Was that guy right there, Pop Reynolds?
Yep.
Yeah,
because you had to have at least some rudimentary basic understanding of how to drive.
Yep.
To have a car like that.
And it was attainable. It was an attainable thing that you could actually make faster.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, that's, like...
Because one of these, 5 years old, it was worth nothing.
Yeah, and, like, this guy, he owned a Buick dealership. Like, all of his shit that he did was just stuff you could do. And that's really awesome. And, like, he even proved, like, with his older cars, like, a Janus 61, like, if we, instead of having the torque converter pitch be based off of the throttle input, I could just put another shifter in there and just have that shifter control.
I was going to say twin stick, but, like, no, it would still be
it'd be like
one stick.
It'd be like a stick and then, like, what looks like a choke, basically.
Get a 2CV shifter and just pull out for some pitch.
Exactly. Like, that honestly sounds really cool. So, I don't know. If I get my own 59 or something like this, I'm totally going to do that style build because that's a lot cooler to me than, like, slamming it with gigantic wheels.
Correct. We are in agreement.
Yeah, no, if I'm a... Janus car's going to get lowered, but it's going to keep stock wheels. Everything's going to be error correct on it. But, yeah, old muscle car, like, actual hot rodding drag racing shit is a lot cooler than modern-day muscle car. Let's keep it stock and let's go... I want to go take it to NCRS thing. It's untouched. It's all original. I don't care about...
Stock block GTR.
Dude, everybody's got a stock car. Everybody's got a stock car with an engine out of a truck that's been rebadged as a stock engine. Nobody cares. Make it interesting to me. Error correct modifications, dude. Like,
how about, like, just mod the engine the car came with?
Like, error correct stuff. Like, dude, don't try to make it something that's not. Like, don't give me a pro stock thing. Like,
yeah, give me a 90s Motec computer.
Don't. If I hear the word modernized anywhere in your vehicle description, I want to shoot you with a bag full of rock salt. Like, that sounds awful. Like,
oh, that's aggressive.
Like, yeah, I don't want to hear anything about that. That sounds awful.
I modernized Blubsky with a snowmobile engine computer.
Well, yeah, but like, your stuff is like just like weird thing. That's not like muscle car where you're like, yeah, I put on Holley EFI injection because I don't know how to turn two knobs to tune my carburetor correctly.
Let the record show I did not use a easy to fit V8 that has universal easy support for everything.
Yours is... Yeah, like, you didn't make it simple.
I put in a stupid Mercedes engine that's worse in every way.
you made something that the factory could have made.
Yes.
Like feasibly, like that's something that could have been done in era.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, 76. They made an M117. It just wasn't that one.
Yeah, like that's all stuff that could have been done like in era or by a tuning shop in the 80s.
I am.
Whereas it was its own like its own like electronic fuel injection system that the shop made.
Could have been D-Jet.
Yeah, like that's
D-Jet
something
existed.
That's something the shop could have done, but like
Right.
you know, when I see like I don't know, like that I showed you that Mopar the other day or from last night. Like that was really cool because like
just a beige on beige.
Yeah.
Teeny big block.
the dude didn't.
Perfect
The guy didn't
Roadrunner.
like rebuild it to make it factory. That one happened to be unchanged.
Right.
Like I'd rather look at that than look at the dude who's like tried to make it look like it was factory. I'm like, no, either it is factory or you can do modifications that make sense in the car.
That kind of car, they all got like fake 440 max wedged, and they all got beat. Now they're all bastardized.
They all suck. Yeah. No, that guy's 383.
No, I just got the small big block.
He's there at 383 with a torque flight, and it's all beige. Cool. I like that. Or it's like
Mad respect.
Yeah, or it's like, yeah, I got 383, but I found a dual carb intake in a junkyard, so I stuffed that on with 2 factory carburetors. I got some like Hedman headers that I got
Period Hedman headers.
Yeah, I got some like period Hedman headers that I found like at a swap meet, and I put like that's cool stuff. Like we actually have to like if you can tell me why specifically this part makes your car better, not just it performs well, but like what intrinsically adds to this car being the best form of itself. Like, because the thing is, when you do pro stock stuff, you're not trying to make the car itself. You're trying to make it into something else. What
Right.
you're telling me when I see a Camaro lowered on like, if I see like a 69 Camaro lowered on like 20-inch wheels with like with like independent rear suspension
Out of a C4.
out of a C4 that like they did like fuel injection, and now it's got air conditioning and bucket seats and a center console and cup holders and a Bluetooth stereo. What you're telling me is you don't actually want a 69 Camaro. You want a 2019 Camaro.
No, you want a Corvette, which
Yeah,
is what
but
you turned your car into.
What you're doing is you want a modern car. Like, no, I want
And
the in-era racer. That's cool.
I'm glad those exist because that's the kind of version of that car I would actually want.
Yeah, it's like cool.
And they'll be worth nothing someday.
Yeah,
Like
you know,
a Pro Mod 68 Camaro.
yeah,
Some point in time, nobody's gonna want that.
no, nobody's gonna want that. It's coming very quickly, I'm sure. So
Probably.
'cause it's just like all the hot rods I see with LT1s from the 90s. Like nobody wants an Eliminator hot rod, and I've always said, hey man, I'd love an Eliminator street rod for a daily driver. They're made of fiberglass and they have a V8. They're gonna run forever, and it's gonna have a very comfy Dodge Intrepid interior.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody's gonna care if I rust it out.
I will
Like
use
if I
it as a
manage
winter
to make
beater.
it rust. Yeah, it's a great daily driver. All right, cool. I think that's a good place to end on here. Do we have anything else?
That's the end of
All
the
right, there you go. Hey, thanks for joining us. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna go to the state fair.
Have fun.